This is the Florida Senate Democratic Update.
Republican lawmakers turned away $150 million in federal revenues this year, severely impacting the lives of Florida's most vulnerable citizens. A large portion of the money was Medicaid funding that would have allowed disabled and elderly patients to leave nursing home facilities and receive care in more of a home-like, community-based setting. Senate Democratic leader Nan Rich believes we should be helping our elderly, not hurting them.
We lost that money. And interestingly enough, even though this state is a party to the lawsuit against the Federal Health Care Act, there are many other states that are also a party to it that took the money. Texas takes everything it can get its hands on, okay? And so I kind of wish that our governor and our legislature would follow Rick Perry's model when it comes to taking money that Texas feels it deserves and is owed to it by the federal government.
During the same session, GOP lawmakers removed important regulations governing nursing homes. Many millions in federal grants designated to help thousands of Florida children at risk were also cut. Instead, Republican lawmakers accepted the $2.6 million in federal money to prevent young people from having premarital sex by encouraging them to just say no.
We talk about accountability, transparency, evidence-based, and in my opinion, it makes it, like I said, very hypocritical to take money for a program that really is not accountable and is not evidence-based, and then turn down money for a program that is.
Rich emphasizes that these are tax dollars paid by Floridians that are being redirected to other states. Another example is the high-speed rail project rejected by the governor earlier this year. $2.4 billion was handed over to other states, resulting in the loss of over 20,000 jobs at a time when Floridians need work.
Actions speak louder than words. I mean, there's a lot of talk about jobs and the economy. Well, here you had an opportunity to put thousands and thousands of people to work who are out of work in the construction industry by, accepting that those funds.
We are now able to make a projection in the state of Florida. ABC News projects that Al Gore wins the state of Florida in its 25 electoral votes, give him the first big state momentum of the evening. This is the biggest state where the race has been close and the fourth biggest electoral prize.
Following the 2000 election debacle, Florida was branded the state where voters didn't know if their ballots would be counted or if the proper candidate was selected. The landmark legislation that followed brought about new voting machines and election law revisions that enhanced participation, early voting, third-party registration, and address changes at the polls meant voting was easy and convenient. Hundreds of thousands of new voters turned out that happened to be Democrats.
It's not just Florida. It becomes a national effort to suppress voting of particularly, I believe, populations that vote more heavily Democratic.
This year, Republican lawmakers followed a national script that reversed all the voter participation safeguards put in place. The law shortened early voting, provisional ballots if the voters had a change of address, and deadlines hampering civic groups from registering voters. A Volusia County teacher could face fines for encouraging her students to register to vote. Regulations upon regulations.
The Republicans have imposed stricter regulations and obstacles for people to vote. And this has really put a really chilling effect on citizens' right to vote. It's wrong, absolutely wrong.
Why make it harder to vote?
It was a success more for people that are registered Democrats than people that are registered Republicans. And this is a way of suppressing a certain percentage of the of the voting population.
You talk about an act of desperation. Absolutely. The Republican-dominated state government wants to maintain that artificial majority dominance that they have in state government.
Critics have labeled the law changes voter suppression. The state is trying to avoid Justice Department scrutiny by filing for review in federal court. The Justice Department enforces the Voting Rights Act. The court has asked the same questions about the new legislation as the Justice Department. Meanwhile, Senator Rich has filed legislation to restore early voting for the convenience of the voter.
It's just very distressing when you've seen something become so successful and there's no fraud. There's no reason to do this other than to suppress a certain part of the population from voting.